Good afternoon, everybody. It is midday. It is the 12th of June, and welcome to episode 45 of Tea with Richard. Hi there. My name is Richard Hornby, and as always, I'm here live from Durham, which is looking a bit wet today, for today's Friday show of Tea with Richard. And as always on Friday, we're going to start off by having a little look at your contributions through our regular Your Corner feature. So all of today's Your Corner contributions have come from one person. So I would like to say a big thank you to regular viewer Nikki, who has sent in a variety of things. She sent in some baby socks that she's made, a couple of pictures of those, a cake and a couple of cakes, one of which was made for her mother's 50th birthday. Although they were socially distanced, Nikki made a cake and shared it with her mum over social media. So that is today's Your Corner contributions from Nikki. I hope you enjoy seeing what our viewer has been up to. I think something went wrong there and we lost the last image for some reason. Nevertheless, we will try and carry on regardless. And I think you may now have a screen that looks very bizarre. So just give me 2 seconds and I will fix that. There we go. So this episode is going to be our penultimate Friday show. So if you do want to submit anything for the last Your Corner of this series, please do get in touch with the usual addresses that are on the bottom of the screen now. So if you want to submit for the last Your Corner, tea@mallard-days.com or mallard-days.com/tea. Now, I thought I'd start today's little section by just revisiting the video that you all saw on Wednesday, looking at our walk. And if you remember, I shared with you on Monday the National Library of Scotland maps. And I thought that what I'd do for a couple of minutes is just show you where I walked yesterday, because there are actually a couple of features that show up on the maps. So if you look here, you can see the area of Durham, and we walked from up here in Keepier Wood. You can see the junction there where I started the walk, just near Keepier Quarries. And we walked along the riverbank and into this area that's called Keepier How, Haugh. And that is essentially a river meadow of fertile land by the side of the river. And you can see how the steep-sided river valley, and I hope you saw in the video, spreads out into the wider fields and pasture. As I mentioned, the edge of the field is a historic walkway, a tramway. You can see it there, and you can also see on the aerial photograph that it's slightly raised above the level of the rest of the field. It stands out quite easily. And you can now see that this area was part of the old disused Keepier Colliery. And before that, all the land here belonged to Keepier Hospital, which is down here, and we might visit in a future walking video. You can see clearly the targets for the rifle range on the field, just at the top there, and you can see that these extended a long way, 400 yards, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900 yards down through this field, and the furthest rifle starting point was actually a significant distance from those targets. Now, we might visit this section of field in a future walking episode, but it did used to actually be the ground for Durham City Football Club, in spite of it being quite substantially out of the city. The football club has moved grounds several times. Its new home is over in New Ferrens Park, which is all the way over here in the industrial estate. And as you can see on the historic map, that is just, at that point, was an area of fields. So I thought I'd just show you a little bit of the last walk we did. And you might notice that in the middle of the map, you can see the NER Durham goods line that ran along the A690 bypass, and the old route I mentioned through the woods, Frankland Woods, on the Belmont Viaduct line. Now, our next walking episode, will feature some of the other disused railway lines in the area, including the Durham, Elverton, Merton branch and the railway line down towards Shincliffe. So you're going to be seeing some railways in future episodes. Now, I'm just trying to sort my cameras out again. Here we are. Now, we now usually move into our next section of things to see and do, and today's episode is no different. And I have a few updates and a few familiar things to mention. So firstly, we've seen in previous episodes little excerpts from Chester Zoo, which is, I'm pleased to be able to say, open, as are a lot of other wildlife-related areas like the Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust Centres. The local one to here is in Washington. And the one thing about these are now, even though they weren't previously, some of these now are strictly ticket controlled. And a lot of them have already sold out for the next couple of weeks. So if you're interested in going to somewhere like, for instance, WWT Washington or a zoo in your area, please make sure you think well in advance about when you'd like to go. Because, as I say, the places I know of have been sold out for at least the next 2 weeks. So you need to start thinking about where you want to go next month about now. So that's just a little heads up if you're thinking about doing that. We always mention our theatre and music suggestions this week. Start with a little bit of a different one, that Glyndebourne Opera House is showing Così fan tutte on their YouTube channel this weekend. That's Glyndebourne Opera House YouTube channel. And this is staging in the original Italian with obviously the full orchestra. So it will be probably a very enjoyable event. The National Theatre Live are showing The Madness of King George this weekend, featuring Mark Gattis, Adrian Scarborough and Deborah Gillett. And this is from the Nottingham Playhouse. So it's not at the National Theatre itself, it's a recording from Nottingham Playhouse. And also the Globe Theatre in Shakespeare's play of the week is The Merry Wives of Windsor. Now, we mentioned in the past local theatres and how some local theatres and local groups are trying to raise money by streaming productions during lockdown. And I've been headed up that the Queen's Theatre Hornchurch, Hull Truck Theatre and Oldham Coliseum next week, from Monday the 15th to Sunday the 21st, will be showing their 2019 musical, The Hired Man. You can find out more about this on any of those organisations' websites, and the stream will be on the YouTube channel of the Queen's Theatre Hornchurch and on the website of the Oldham Coliseum. So this is something that people have let me know about. Obviously, if you've got more information about things that are going on in your area, please do let me know in the live chat, and I'll try and mention them on future episodes. Sip of tea. Now, where was I? So, the question that some of you might be wondering is, I mentioned that this was the penultimate Friday show, and you might be wondering what my plans are for the channel. Well, we're at episode 45 now, and my plan is that we'll be carrying on as normal up until episode 50. So that means next week there'll be a full set of normal shows. When we get to episode 50, I'm going to slightly change the theme of Tea with Richard and reduce the number of episodes I'm doing, because as you might have noticed, it is quite difficult to find content. And as more and more things are being reactivated after COVID-19, and people are getting more and more busy because people are coming off furlough, work is getting started again, the viewers on my show have decreased. Can I just at this point thank all the 3 viewers who have watched every episode? So thank you to you. And the recent episodes, the viewer count has been reducing. So what I thought I'd do is I'd consolidate all the episodes to do one show a week, slightly longer, but with a little bit more content and themed around the weekly walk, because those have been the most popular channel of late. So after episode 50, we'll be just going to one video a week, which will be featured around the Wednesday walk. So, as always, let's bring things to a close by thinking about today's reflection time. So today's reflection time is a fairly straightforward one, and that is to try and say something positive in every conversation with others that you have today. And in fact, we don't need to do this just today. We can do it permanently. Always try and focus on the positive. There's a lot of negative going around in the media at the moment. I'm sure anybody who has read any newspaper can find a lot of things that people are saying that are negative about other people. Try to focus on things that are positive. Try to include something positive in every conversation you have with somebody else today. But that is today's little reflection time, today's thing that you need to try and improve your social group, to try and improve the area and improve our communities. Try to say something positive about somebody else in every conversation you have today. Now, this is just a reminder for those people in Durham and especially in Gilesgate that tomorrow on this channel you'll be seeing the live coverage of Gilesgate Residents Association's virtual meeting. Now, that's not a Tea with Richard episode. It's good. It's very different. If you're not in Gilesgate and you are a subscriber to Tea with Richard, you might want to just skip this one because it is going to be very local. It's going to be based on local issues. We'll have our local councillors attending. There'll be a discussion on the changes to the County Durham local plan. So as you can see, this isn't going to be a video that has much interest outside of this area of Durham. So that's not a Tea with Richard episode. The next Tea with Richard episode will be on Monday. That's Monday the 15th of June. So I look forward to seeing you then. As a reminder, if you want to contribute to our last Friday Your Corner, the email address tea@malin-days.com is on the screen now. This will be the last time you'll have to be able to put some input into this channel. So please do, if you've got something that you want to share with us, please do send it in and I'll include it in that episode. If you want to watch all of the previous 45 episodes, they are available on malin-days.com/tea. To help you work out which ones you haven't watched yet, I have numbered them all now, so it should be a lot easier to find out to spot the ones you've missed. So thank you very much again to everybody who's watching. I hope you look forward to the remaining 5 episodes of the Tea with Richard series, and I hope some of you will join me for the Walking with Richard series that will follow on with the weekly videos. So thank you very much for joining me today, and as always folks, remember, once you finish your cup of tea, to wash your hands, because with that we can defeat coronavirus. Thank you very much and have a good afternoon.